Hi Joyful Bakers, welcome back to Erica's Joyful Oven. Today I'm making an eggless banana bread coffee cake. It's a moist eggless banana bread with a coffee cake streusel. It's so delicious, so let's get started. To prepare the pecan streusel, into a mixing bowl goes a half cup of dark brown sugar, a quarter cup of granulated sugar, half a cup of chopped pecans, 2 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter, 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. I'll mix this together until it's well combined. Now the maple syrup is optional, but it is going to give a nice sweetness and flavor to the streusel. Once this is well mixed, I'll set it aside so I can prepare the banana bread batter. Into a mixing bowl, I'll mash 2 medium bananas. I'm aiming for 3/4 cups of mashed bananas in total. For this recipe, I'm using really ripe bananas, probably slightly overripe, so you know that it's going to be really rich in flavor and it's going to give some natural sweetness and moisture to the banana bread. Also in the mixing bowl, I'll add half cup of melted unsalted butter, 3/4 cups of granulated sugar. You can also use brown sugar, but I like the texture with the granulated sugar. Next, I'll add a half teaspoon of vanilla extract and I'll mix this together until it's combined. Next, I'll mix in 1 cup of homemade buttermilk into the mixture. You can see the description above the video on Facebook and below the video on YouTube for details on how you can make homemade buttermilk. For this recipe, I'm using 2 cups of all-purpose flour, but at this point, I'm only adding 1 cup of flour together with 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'll mix this together until it's well combined, and you want to make sure that there's no lumps of flour in the batter, but because we've mashed the bananas by hand, there are going to be a few chunks of bananas left behind, and that's going to bring a nice texture to the banana bread. And next, I'll add in the remaining 1 cup of all-purpose flour and I'll fold it into the batter just until it's well combined. Although this batter is eggless, because of the buttermilk and the bananas that we've added in, it's going to be quite rich and moist. I've lined a standard bread pan with baking parchment paper and I'll pour half of the batter into the pan and spread it into an even layer. This makes a delicious eggless banana bread on its own, but now let's add some streusel to make this even better. I'll add just about 2 to 3 tablespoons of streusel over that first layer of batter, and then I'll add the remaining batter to form an even layer at the top. And for that finishing touch, I'll cover the top completely with the remaining cinnamon and pecan streusel. I'm going to run a skewer in the batter along the pan. This is going to help the batter to settle and it's also going to mix in the streusel just a little bit. This will bake in a preheated oven at 345 degrees for 55 to 60 minutes or until a skewer inserted comes out clean. Here is the finished banana bread coffee cake. It looks so rustic with the streusel at the top. You can see that it's sunk in just a little bit. This is quite moist. It smells so amazing and I cannot wait to slice in. But first, it needs to cool for about 15 minutes in the pan before I can dig in, and I am so excited, I cannot wait. Once it's cool, I can easily remove it from the pan. And if you do try this recipe, be sure to let me know in the comments or send me a message and let me know what you think. If you would like to see more of my videos, you can find me at facebook.com/joyfuloven or youtube.com/joyfuloven. As I slice in, you can see that the streusel at the top has created a crunchy layer similar to a coffee cake, but the inside is a moist, delicious banana bread with little hidden pockets of caramelized streusel. There's so much to love about this, from those gooey pockets of caramelized streusel, the soft and spongy texture of the banana bread. It's so incredibly moist and flavorful, you'd never guess that it's eggless. The streusel at the top perfectly complements this dessert because you have the crunch of the pecans and the sugar. It's lightly caramelized and you get the little sweetness from the maple syrup. This recipe is definitely a keeper in the family recipe book. I really hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. It was my eggless version of my family's Jewish sour cream coffee cake, the recipe for which you can find on my page. I really hope you guys will try both recipes and let me know what you think. And until next time, happy baking!